let's move on to our third battle of the stream. We have the Philadelphia Infinite Fusions, led by SB, playing for the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Currently 14th at 1 and 5. Unfortunately, not getting knockouts, but or not getting wins. But that doesn't mean that this team has not been doing great. Looking at the knockouts of these Pokemon, um, pretty high numbers for only having one win. So this showing that this team definitely is a threat and something to not just like, oh, look at that record, they're easy to beat. Definitely not. No, the knockouts of this team being up there, the Toxapex and the Sageui, the Toxapex being such a big threat, maybe not having as many knockouts, but able to set up those poison, those toxic spikes and just bulk out hits. It's just a terrifying Pokemon. The Toxapex at 3 and 4, the Decidueye, Hisuian Decidueye at 2 and 4. The Espeon, the namesake Pokemon of obviously SB, the namesake Pokemon of this team, putting in the most work, having that 6 and 5 record. Espeon, I agree with chat. Espeon is such a good Pokemon, doing the work, being just fantastic. We see the Floatzel hasn't been brought yet though. The Zoroark, the Argumon to this team, that Zoroark at 0 and 1, being brought once and unfortunately not being able to do anything. The Typhlosion, not Hisuian, the regular Typhlosion at 1 and 2 as well, with the Sigilyph having not shown up either. The Enumons of this team, the Linoon and the Drapion, each at 1 and 1, with the Aerodactyl showing up once, throwing out some Stealth Rocks, and then getting knocked out, unfortunately. And the Pigumons of this team being that Murkrow, the Prankster Murkrow being a really good pick at 1 and 2. The Meowstic might be at 0 and 5, but it doesn't mean that this Pokemon has not been putting in work. The Pokemon, or the Meowstic, able to set up their fleet. Wow, I can't speak today. Meowstic able to set up the screens, reflect and light screen, and just support the rest of the team. That's what I'm trying to say. The Unpheasant at 1 and 5, and the Excelgor not showing up yet. Again, this team might be at 1 and 5, but it's still not a team to sneeze at. They are a really good battler. Just unfortunately, has not been able to pick up the wins. But we will see what happens against their team this week. The cross-branded Brawlers, led by Nahel, playing for the People in Need charity. Currently the only undefeated team leader of this league. First place at 6 and 0. Only 5 knockouts, or only 5 feints to this team leader's name. Just a really strong contender, having shown week after week just how strong they are and how good at battling they are. The OU moms of this team being the Volcarona at 4 and 0, and the Hisuian Goodra at 9 and 1. The Hisuian Goodra hasn't really shown up in a while, but it hasn't needed to. Just the rest of this team able to put in work as well. The Yuyamon of this team being the Greninja at 0-0, and the Conkeldurr at 1 and 1. Conkeldurr picking up a knockout. I think it was last week, but I'm not sure. I don't remember. All these weeks are starting to blur together. The Argumon of this team being the Gliscopod, finally having a positive record after being burned so many times. It definitely should have a higher record than 2 and 1, but it's just unfortunately just been burned so much, and it feels so bad. The Weavile though at 3 and 0, that Weavile being an absolutely terrifying Pokemon, really fast, really strong. Just really good as a revenge killer. And the Galarian Weezing, we've seen this Pokemon showing up a lot too, just chonking out hits, dealing damage back, burning things, just being an absolute menace. The Enumon of this team being the 3 and 0 Mantine, the Electros at 1 and 0, and the Araquanid at 0 and 1. Unfortunately, the Araquanid has not been able to pick up any knockouts, but it didn't need to. It set up the sticky web and just was able to just support the team there with that sticky web, lowering the speed of any Pokemon that showed up. The Pigumon of this team being the Galvantula, who has not shown up yet. That Whimsicott, the Whimsicott actually being kind of surprising to me. At 7 and 0, I was not expecting Whimsicott to be able to just do so much damage, but it has. At 7 and 0. Of course, Galarian Corsola not showing up because that was recently traded as well from the... Ooh, I don't remember what was traded for this. You might be able to tell me though. But the Runerigus at 2 and 1. Why can't I remember? I'm usually really good at remembering what the Pokemon were traded for. Masquerain, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Because Masquerain is really a forgettable Pokemon. I mean, what? I didn't say anything, huh? But yeah, the bug type enthusiast showing just how good bug types can be. Um, I'm sorry. Sorry. Let's see the starting lineups of these two teams. I was kidding. I was kidding. Oh my gosh. We see the Philadelphia Infinite Fusions with that Espeon and the Hisuian Decidueye, two of the strong Pokemon. And we do see the Toxapex as well. We also see the Meowstic. Oh my gosh. Meowstic and Unpheasant coming back, as well as the Drapion. With the cross-banner Brawlers, bringing that Golisopod, that Weezing, the Galarian Weezing coming back that have been doing so good for this team. The Whimsicott as well. The Galvantula making its first appearance, though. I'm kind of excited to see what Galvantula has in store for us. With the Mantine and the Weavile coming back. Let's just hop into things. Let's see. I'm gonna get like so much backlash for calling Masquerade forgettable. I'm so sorry. I was kidding. That was a joke. Let's see the starting Pokemon of these two teams and get started with battle number 3. The Philadelphia Infinite Fusions leading with the Drapion, the fun angry face, with the Golisopod being sent out first from the Brawlers. The first impression doing some damage but not too much, with a knockoff able to connect and take down the Assault Vest of the Golisopod. The cross poison coming through, poisoning the Golisopod with a Drill Run. The Drill Run though doesn't take out the Drapion either, but the poison will bring the Golisopod down to emergency exit range. The Weavile then comes in. Definitely going to outspeed this. That critical hit boost not even mattering, with the Ice Shard able to take down this Drapion. The Toxapex then comes in, with the Weavile going out right into the Galarian Weezing, with a knockoff then coming through. Toxapex then switching out into that Meowstic, with a Rain Dance then being set up from the Galarian Weezing. The Whimsicott then comes in to replace the Weezing, with the Light Screen being set up from the Meowstic. And a Light Screen then does get set up from the I don't understand that trick play there, but the trick from the Meowstic, switching the two items, with the Moonblast critting and doing some pretty good damage. The Meowstic then switching out back into the Toxapex, with the Leaf Seed then connecting from the Whimsicott. Another Moonblast coming through, only doing 6% damage through the Light Screen and the resisted hit, with the knockoff, of course being resisted hit, but taking down the Lumberry of the Whimsicott. Another Moonblast coming through, doing a little bit more damage because Light Screen just wore off, and lowering the special attack of the Toxapex, with a layer of Toxic Spikes coming through. Another Light Screen gets set up from that Whimsicott, with another layer of Toxic Spikes getting set up from the Toxapex. And then switches out into the Galarian Weezing. The Galarian Weezing is able to suck up those Toxic Spikes, with the Toxapex switching into that Meowstic. And Light Screen then gets set up again from the Meowstic, with the Rain Dance again being set up from the Galarian Weezing, with the Galarian Weezing going into that Weavile. With the Psychic, of course, being immune because of the Dark typing, a really good switch from the cross-branded Brawlers, predicting that Psychic move into that Dark type, with the Meowstic switching out into the Toxapex, and the knockoff doing so much damage, but not enough to, take down the Toxapex. Weavile then switches back out into the Galarian Weezing, with another layer of Toxic Spikes being set up on the switch, so the spikes don't get, sucked up this time. But the Thunder, not doing nearly enough damage through that Light Screen. Another layer of Toxic Spikes being set up from this Toxapex. Light Screen though wearing off now. Then the switch into the Mantine, of course not going to get poisoned because of the flying typing of this Pokemon. The Galarian Weezing switches back to suck up those Toxic Spikes, with the Toxapex going into that Decidueye. A lot of switches going on. 21 turns and only one knockout so far. The Strength Beam coming through from the Weezing, not doing enough to take down this Decidueye, The Trailblaze coming in to return to boost the speed, and the Leaf Blade, of course, being a resisted hit. Not going to do too much, with the Strange Steam able to connect and take down the rest of the HP of this Decidueye. Meowstic comes out to replace the fallen Decidueye, with the Weezing going into the Weavile. And a Light Screen does get set up again from this Meowstic, and the Reflect as well. But is it enough? It is not enough to save it from this really, really strong Weavile. The Weavile able to go for a knockoff and take down the Meowstic. Toxapex then comes back out, with the Weavile going into the Galarian Weezing. The immediate swap into the Espeon, though, with the immediate swap back into that Mantine. So many switches coming through from both of these teams. The Psychic doing a decent chunk, but not too much. The switch from the Espeon into the Toxapex, into the Rain Dancing Mantine. And the Hurricane, of course, guaranteed going to connect here. Doesn't get the confusion, though, with a layer of Toxic Spikes being set up from this Toxapex. Toxapex then switches back out into the Espeon, with another Hurricane connecting, doing some pretty good damage. Still doesn't get the confusion, though, with I think it's a 30% chance or 50, I don't remember. But the Scald doesn't take down the Espeon. With the Morning Sun going to do less healing, though, in the rain. The immediate swap back into the Toxapex, though. The Scald coming through. With the Burn now connecting with the Toxapex. Another Hurricane coming through. Does it get the confusion? It does not. Another layer of Toxic Spikes being set up by this Toxapex here. And the Baneful Bunker now is going to protect it from probably another Hurricane. Yep. Baneful Bunker protecting that Toxapex from a Hurricane. Probably trying to stall out the rain at this point. The switch back into the Espeon, though. Into a Hurricane. The Hurricane is able to knock down this Espeon. The rain now wearing off from the Mantine, so it's not going to get its Swift Swim boost anymore. Toxapex then comes in, but another Rain Dance connects, with a knockoff doing a little bit of damage and taking the Damp Rock off of the Mantine. Switch from the Toxapex into the Unpheasant, with the Hurricane connecting, doing so much damage and getting the confusion as well. And the switch back into the Toxapex. The Toxapex now at full HP from the recovery of Regenerator. Another Hurricane connecting. And now a Baneful Bunker to just stall out a little more. A lot of stalling going on from this battle. Another Hurricane though connecting. Doing a little bit more chip damage, and the knockoff again doing a little bit more chip damage to the Mantine, whatever. Another Baneful Bunker coming through. A lot of nothing going on in this battle. Another Hurricane though. The Hurricane is able to take the Toxapex to 1 HP. And the knockoff comes through, but the Burn will finally take down this Toxapex. Just the Unpheasant is left though. Will it be enough? The Scald, it does outspeed, and the Scald is able to take down the Unpheasant. The cross-branded Brawlers, with I think their 4th 6-0 battle of the league. A really good showing from the Infinite Fusions though, but just again not able to get any value from the knockouts or the win either. A lot of good stalling though, just the stalling unfortunately was not enough.